Hi everybody, another day, doing a little bit more work on the gate to complete it. We've got it all painted now and the lock's been recessed into the post. So when we close the gate, we don't get as much of a gap as what we had before. So I'm going to put a little bracket in up here just to pull this across because the concrete's sloping down, so we'll just assist it. We'll just assist it a little bit to get that all squared up nice, but it locks, it rolls, it looks really good. So from the outside, sorry for this bit of camera work. So from the outside, that's what we've got. That's our completed gate. Okay, so the only problem I had was that one of the anchor bolts became a bit loose in this hole. I tried using a Dynabolt, but it wouldn't spread out enough, so I've got to take this out to a 12mm and use a 12mm in that one. These two were fine. This one, no go. So that's a 5-minute job. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that recess came up there. Chipped a little bit of paint putting the thing in, but yeah, I'll touch that up once I've got that squared away. Another thing that I came across yesterday, I got a call from my sister. There's a neighbour 2 doors down from her that have just had a new swimming pool installed, and along with the new swimming pool they decided to get new pool fencing. So they were throwing out the old pool fencing, and that's a quick look at it. It's not actually aluminium, it's galvanized. It's actually really solid stuff. So I end up getting a whole heap of this. So I got this piece here, I got that piece, but that's been welded up on an angle, so they must have had a slope on their block or something. That was a gate, but I've got 2 other pieces that I'm using, and what I'm thinking about doing is the earth or the land around here moves a lot, so we get lots of cracking in brickwork and lots of movement and everything like that. Now on this, try and not get the sun glare here. I'll try and get behind the post, this pole. So as you can see, the land slopes up that way, but it also slopes that way as well. And what's happening is all the weight and all the water that comes down the driveway and onto the road is basically pushing our blocks downhill. So what's happening is I'm getting lots of movement here. As you can see, my fence, you can see all the cracks in my fence here all the way up. Now I've re-bricked this fence twice in 20 years. That's my trade. I'm a bricklayer, so I know how to do this stuff properly. It's all cracked through here, and then we get to here, and this is just opened up to the point where I can basically get my hand in there. If you're wondering what that is, it's a mask. But yeah, you can see it's cracking, and I can't keep pointing this every year. And as you can see, it's kicking up here too. So I'm sick of doing this. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to pull all the brickwork down along here, but I'm going to leave the 2 piers in place. I'm going to put a steel fence in. I'll sink a post. Let me get rid of this mask, guys. Sorry about this, but we've got to have them on, otherwise we get a massive fine. I'm outside my property, so technically I've got to have it on. So what we're going to do here is I'll cut everything. I'll cut everything to the right length, and then I'll put a nice square post in there, just like what I used on the gate, with a nice cap on the top, and that'll be the central mounting point for this fencing. I'll take it down, I'll get it sandblasted and powder coated, and then bring it home. I'll get this done in gully, So same colour as my guttering and fascia covers and my gable covers. So that should look really good. I'll weld some tabs on here so we can bolt into the brickwork, top and bottom. But I think that was a pretty good score. As to whether I'll do it on this side or not, I'm not exactly sure. Like, this fence does have a bulge in the middle, and I re-bricked this at one stage, but it never cracked again. But it does definitely have a rise here. So I've got enough fence out I've got enough of that pool fencing out the back to do this section as well, to make it all match. I might pull it all out to here and sink a post in there. So that's my idea. That way it's going to have a little bit more flexibility. I'm not going to end up with cracking like this all the time, because I'm just sick of it coming apart. Like, the bricks, you know, like, I got a little retaining wall along here, and I must have re-bricked at least 3 meters of this. I've re-bricked it probably 4 times in 20 years, and it's still cracking, and I've still got, there you go, that's completely loose, as you can see. I've got uprise here. I've sunk rebar deep, like over 1 meter deep into the soil before I poured the foundations, and I made the foundations bigger than I made them for the front fence, because this just kept cracking. So I poured more foundations in there, and yeah, it's just keeps cracking. Look at this. It's just all coming away. Look. So I've given up. So I'll wait till the warmer weather. I'll wait till springtime comes along, and then when the weather's good, I can start taking the brickwork down and cleaning up the bricks, and I can clean up here, because obviously I'll need to tooth out these half bricks and put a full brick in every second course, all the way to the bottom. And yeah, that's what the plan is. So I'm going to get measuring away and work out what size post I'm going to go with in the center here as a support for the 2 sections. And once I've worked that out, then I can cut my fencing to the required length for each of those 2 sections, and then weld the plates on, and then get it ready to take off to the sandblasters and powder coaters and get that all prepped for spring. And then when springtime comes along, all I have to do is just basically pull the brickwork down. Okay guys, that's a bit better look at the fence. I've swapped the piece out, I swapped that piece out, found my centre line, so I've set up the 2 pieces where I needed to, made sure that I finished them off at the start of the next loop, so I can weld my plates to the post. I worked out that it's going to be 100mm post, which is exactly the same. No, it's actually larger than the gate post, so it'll be 100mm post in here. I'm going to leave 10mm of material each side of these loops to weld the brackets on, and then this one also finishes with the loop as well. So that's pretty good. If I opt to do this side, I've got plenty here as well. So yeah, I can whatever I decide to do. Just sink a single post in here. That'll actually be perfect. So I haven't actually measured that one up, so we are looking at we'd be looking at 100mm post. So I think that's the way to go. We'll tear this whole section down. We'll just put a post in there. So 100mm post here, 100mm post in the middle. It's going to give the house a very different look. You know, for 20 years it's been a brick fence, and we're going to a partial brick fence now. So I think it's the only way to go. There's just too much movement in the land. So I'm quite happy, because I know that when this is all powder coated, it's going to look fantastic. It's going to look really good, and it's strong. It's galvanized. It was good quality pool fencing. There's still a sticker under there, and it says, "What? Please remove protective film." It was definitely worth a lot of money, because most pool fencing is made out of aluminium, and this is actually galvanized, so it would not have been cheap. Okay, I've cut down all the lengths I need for the new fence modification, and it turns out that even the short section of the fence on the left hand side of the driveway happens to be the exact same length as half of the long fence. So yeah, I ended up with 3 pieces that were exactly the same length, which is good. This is all the offcuts I'm left with. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this yet, but who knows? It can sit outside, it's galvanized, it won't rust. I don't need to store it anywhere. These are some of the posts and stuff that came with it. Obviously you can see there, that must have been the gate post, but I don't really need that stuff, but again, you know, it always comes in handy, especially these joining brackets. You know, I'll probably make something somewhere down the track where I'm going to need to join some tube together, and it saves having to scallop out the end of the tube and weld it to the tube. So, you know, I can just bolt it straight in. So yeah, that was a very good score. Cost me nothing, and I think it's going to look magnificent. I think it's really going to open up the front of the house. It's going to make the front of the block look a lot wider than it is. I'm on a wedge-shaped block, so the front is fairly narrow, but this is really just going to open it right up. So yeah, all good. And one last look at the gate. There's the gate all locked up for the night. So it's yeah, I'm very happy with the way it's all come together. I think I did a good job